Have you ever found yourself standing in front of a wall of ice cream flavors, paralyzed by the choices before you? It's a seemingly simple moment, yet it perfectly encapsulates a deeper truth about our lives. This scenario is reminiscent of a famous thought experiment by the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, who once suggested that our freedom to choose is both a gift and a burden. As we stand there, contemplating whether to indulge in classic vanilla or adventurous lavender honey, we are not just deciding what to enjoy, we're grappling with the weight of our freedom. Today, we're diving into the paradox of choice, how having too many options can lead to anxiety and dissatisfaction, rather than the freedom and happiness we expect. In a world where every decision feels monumental, from what to wear to who to follow on social media, we often find ourselves caught in a cycle of overthinking. So, let's unpack this phenomenon together and explore how we can reclaim our decision-making power in a chaotic world. As we delve deeper into the paradox of choice, let's take a moment to consider how our modern world is designed around an ever-expanding array of options. We live in an age characterized by abundance, where virtually anything we desire is just a click away. Need a new pair of shoes? You can browse hundreds of brands, styles, and colors in mere moments. Looking for a new show to binge watch? The streaming services offer a seemingly infinite selection that can leave you feeling more confused than entertained. This abundance, however, comes at a cost. The psychological concept of choice overload highlights a fascinating paradox. The more options we have, the more difficult it becomes to make a decision. Studies have shown that when faced with too many choices, individuals often experience anxiety and frustration. Instead of feeling empowered, they may become paralyzed, caught in a cycle of indecision. This situation reflects the age-old adage that too much of a good thing can, in fact, be detrimental. One of the most illuminating studies in this area was conducted by researchers at Stanford University, who set up a jam tasting booth in a grocery store. On one occasion, they offered customers a selection of 24 different flavors of jam. On another day, they presented just 6 flavors. The result? While more people were drawn to the larger selection, only a fraction of them actually made a purchase. In contrast, those who encountered the limited selection were not only more likely to buy a jar of jam but reported greater satisfaction with their choice. This simple experiment underscores a profound truth: sometimes, less really is more. Now, consider how this principle applies to our daily lives. The overwhelming number of choices we face can lead us to question our desires, our priorities, and even our identities. When deciding what to wear, we might find ourselves wondering not only what looks good, but also what statement we want to make about ourselves. This constant second-guessing can sap our energy and leave us feeling disconnected from our authentic selves. Furthermore, the pressure to make the right choice can exacerbate feelings of anxiety. In a world filled with options, the fear of missing out, often abbreviated as FOMO, has become a common refrain. We might find ourselves scrolling through social media, enviously comparing our lives to the carefully curated highlight reels of others. This can create an insatiable desire to explore every possible option, as we fear that any choice we make may lead to regret or dissatisfaction. This brings us to another critical aspect of the paradox of choice: the role of regret in our decision-making process. The more options we have, the more likely we are to experience regret about the choices we didn't make. It's a psychological phenomenon known as regret aversion. When we are faced with a multitude of options, we not only worry about making the wrong choice, but also about the potential paths we didn't take. This emotional burden can weigh heavily on our minds, making it increasingly difficult to enjoy the choices we do make. As we navigate this complex landscape of options, it's essential to cultivate a mindset that embraces the notion of good enough. By letting go of the pursuit of perfection and acknowledging that no choice will be without its drawbacks, we can liberate ourselves from the paralysis of overthinking. This shift in perspective allows us to appreciate the value in the decisions we make, recognizing that each choice is simply a step along our journey. To illustrate this point, let's reflect on the story of a young artist named Mia. Mia always dreamed of pursuing a career in painting but found herself paralyzed by the multitude of styles and techniques available. She spent countless hours researching and exploring different mediums, convinced that she needed to master every option before making a decision. As a result, she never picked up a brush. One day, a mentor encouraged her to embrace the freedom of simply creating without the pressure of perfection. Mia decided to focus on her favorite style, watercolor, and allowed herself the grace to experiment and make mistakes. Through this process, she discovered not only her unique voice, but also the joy of creation itself. By narrowing her focus, Mia was able to unleash her creativity and find purpose in her artistic journey. As we reflect on Mia's story, it invites us to reconsider our own approaches to decision-making. Are there areas in your life where you feel overwhelmed by options? How might you benefit from simplifying your choices? Perhaps it's time to let go of the fear of making the wrong decision and instead embrace the beauty of the journey itself. In our fast-paced world, we must also recognize the power of mindfulness as a tool for navigating the paradox of choice. By grounding ourselves in the present moment, we can create space to examine our thoughts and feelings without judgment. Mindfulness encourages us to observe our experiences with curiosity rather than anxiety, allowing us to become more attuned to our true desires. When faced with a decision, take a moment to pause and breathe. Ask yourself what truly matters to you in this situation. Is it a sense of fulfillment, connection with others, personal growth? By aligning your choices with your values, you can reduce the noise of external pressures and hone in on what genuinely resonates with your heart. Additionally, let's consider the role of gratitude in our decision-making processes. When we cultivate an attitude of gratitude, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. This perspective can help alleviate the anxiety that often accompanies decision-making. By appreciating the choices we do have and recognizing the value in them, we can foster a sense of contentment and fulfillment. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of gratitude for the opportunities ahead. Rather than viewing choices as burdens, we can celebrate them as gifts. This shift in perspective transforms the way we engage with our decisions, leading to a greater sense of empowerment and joy. As we explore these ideas further, let's turn our attention to the social aspects of decision-making. We often look to others for guidance when faced with choices. Whether it's seeking advice from friends, family, or online reviews, we can find ourselves caught in the web of social comparison. The desire for validation can lead us to base our decisions on what others think, rather than what truly aligns with our values. It's essential to recognize that while input from others can be valuable, our decisions should ultimately reflect our own beliefs and desires. This requires a level of self-awareness and confidence in our choices. When we trust ourselves to make decisions based on our own values, we empower ourselves to live authentically. Now, let's consider how the paradox of choice impacts our relationships. In an age where online dating apps provide a seemingly endless pool of potential partners, we may find ourselves caught in a cycle of superficial connections. The search for the perfect match can lead to a paradox where, despite having numerous options, we feel increasingly isolated. It's crucial to remember that meaningful relationships require depth, commitment, and effort. By focusing on nurturing a few close connections rather than spreading ourselves thin across many, we can cultivate deeper bonds that enrich our lives. As we reflect on our relationships, let's also acknowledge the role of communication in decision-making. Open and honest dialogue with loved ones can provide valuable insights and support. When we share our thoughts and feelings about our choices, we not only gain perspective but also strengthen our connections. This collaboration can create a sense of community and shared experience, alleviating some of the pressures we feel when making decisions alone. As we approach the conclusion of today's exploration, I invite you to reflect on the ways you can apply these insights in your own life. Are there areas where you feel overwhelmed by choices? How can you embrace the idea of good enough and simplify your decision-making processes? Remember, each choice is an opportunity for growth, and it's essential to honor your unique journey. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. What strategies do you use to navigate decision fatigue? How do you cultivate gratitude and mindfulness in your choices? Share your insights in the comments below, and let's continue this important conversation together. If you found today's discussion enlightening, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more insights into psychology and personal growth. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the paradox of choice. May you find clarity in your decisions, joy in your journey, and the courage to embrace the beauty of the options before you. Until next time, take care, and happy choosing.